Beneath the glow of the moon, Lunawhisper Tales invites you into a world of wonder, stories to calm the night, and whispers that stay in your heart. Listen and let the moon speak to you. The Vanished City. The air was heavy, thick with the damp scent of wild greenery seeping into the lungs of the 6 travelers. Elias Ward gripped the worn edges of an ancient map, his eyes fixed on the narrow trail disappearing into the trees. Beside him, Mara Quinn unfolded her rough sketch map, marking every turn and bend, measuring the distance with almost obsessive precision. Walking ahead, Jonas Hale paused, his ears tuned to the forest's subtle music. "Be careful. The birds have gone quiet," he said in a low, uneasy tone. Captain Reese Calder marched steadily, keeping the group's pace firm. "If we're serious about finding it, we push through tonight. The lights fade in fast," he ordered. From the rear, Dr. Leora Ashford spoke with a spark of wonder in her voice. "Historical records say there's a burial city somewhere in these woods, but no one who's entered has ever returned." And then there was Selene Vargo, the guide with the shadowed eyes, speaking calmly, yet with an edge that carried weight. "If you take the wrong path, you won't see the sun again in 3 days. Best listen to me if you want to live." The group pressed deeper into the forest. The heat pressed back, the silence tightened around them, and Elias could swear something was watching. The forest grew darker far too quickly. What little light filtered through the canopy shifted to a sickly green, and the air turned heavy enough to slow every breath. Jonas suddenly raised his hand, stopping the group. "There," he whispered, pointing at the ground. Half hidden in the moss was a row of stones, each carved with markings no one recognized, except for Leora. She knelt down, brushing away the damp leaves. "These are old, very old, predating any known settlement in this region." Her voice was calm, but Elias noticed her hand trembling slightly. A twig snapped somewhere in the shadows. Reese spun toward the sound, rifle in hand, scanning the dense trees. "Show yourself," he barked. No one answered. But then Selene stepped forward, her voice low and unsettlingly certain. "Don't call to it," she said. "You never call to it." Mara frowned. "Call to what?" Selene's eyes lingered on the darkness between the trees, as if expecting something to emerge. "It doesn't have a name," she murmured, "but it guards the city. If it hears us—" The forest seemed to breathe. Leaves rustled without wind. A faint rhythm, like distant footsteps, echoed from somewhere unseen. Elias tightened his grip on the map. He had wanted adventure, but in that moment, standing in the choking green silence, he realized the city might not be lost by accident. The footsteps in the forest were drawing closer, and Elias could feel his heartbeat rising. Reese tightened his grip on his weapon, motioning for Mara to stay behind him. Jonas, scanning the ground, suddenly froze, then turned sharply. "Someone's here, or something," he said, pointing with certainty. Selene silently raised a hand and pointed toward a narrow gap between the trees. The light was thin, the air damp, and under the shadow of a massive tree stood a large stone, and beside it a towering shape. Leora stepped forward, her eyes locking on the carvings etched into the stone. Symbols, unfamiliar yet deliberate, spiraled around the image of a dragon. "This could be the city's outer wall," she breathed in awe. Her voice echoed faintly through the trees, and the footsteps stopped. Moments later, the shadow slipped silently back into the forest, like roots disappearing beneath the soil. Was that another person? Mara asked, fear creeping into her tone. Selene shook her head without even glancing back. Number, didn't you listen to me? That's the thing that guards the city. Elias glanced down at the map in his hands, suddenly reconsidering everything. Then Reese's voice cut through the air, urgent and sharp. There, I can see the city walls. The trees thinned just enough for the group to see it. A towering wall of black stone, weathered and cracked, stretching far beyond sight. Moss clung to its surface like an ancient shroud, and strange symbols glowed faintly along its base. That's no ordinary stone, Leora whispered, brushing her fingers against the carvings. It's warm. Before Elias could answer, the air shifted. A low, guttural hum rolled across the ground, making the earth vibrate under their feet. Jonas's eyes darted toward the tree line. We're not alone. From the shadows, a figure emerged. It moved wrong, its limbs too long, its head tilted unnaturally as it crawled forward on all fours before rising to stand. Its eyes reflected the faint green light, unblinking. Back away, Selene warned, her voice sharper than ever. It knows we're here now. The creature let out a sound, half growl, half scream, that made the air taste like metal. Reese lifted his weapon, but Selene stepped in front of him. You fire, we die faster, she hissed. Then it lunged. Elias barely had time to grab Mara and pull her aside as the thing slammed into the ground where they'd been standing, shattering stone and sending shards flying. Jonas shouted, "Run!" But there was only one way forward. Through a narrow gap in the city wall, half collapsed but just wide enough for a person to squeeze through. The group sprinted. The creature followed, its footsteps pounding like drums. Elias dove through the gap first, pulling Mara behind him. Reese and Jonas forced their way through next. Selena was last. She stopped at the gap, turned to face the creature, and spoke in a language no one understood. The thing froze, just for a heartbeat. Then lunged again, but Selene slipped inside, and Jonas shoved a fallen slab of stone into the opening. The pounding stopped. On the other side of the wall, the forest was silent again. But inside, they realized they had just entered the Vanished City. The narrow gap swallowed them into darkness. Beyond the wall lay a city forgotten by time, silent streets lined with crumbled buildings, their stones worn smooth by centuries of wind and rain. The air was thick with dust and something else, a faint scent like burnt wood and old memories. Elias ran his fingers along a cracked pillar. It's been abandoned for a long time, Leora said softly, but it feels watched. Shadows flickered at the edge of their vision. Jonas tensed, scanning every corner. Someone, or something, is here. Selene's eyes narrowed. This city holds secrets not meant for outsiders. Suddenly, a soft whisper floated through the empty street, a voice almost too faint to hear. Mara gasped, clutching Elias's arm. Did you hear that? Elias nodded slowly, heart pounding louder. Yeah, and it's coming from the old temple ahead. The group exchanged uneasy glances. Stepping forward, they moved deeper into the vanished city, where the past waited. And something else As they stepped deeper into the city, the group headed straight toward an ancient temple, its crumbling facade barely visible beneath overgrown vines and broken wooden doors hanging askew. Inside, only faint shafts of light pierced the gloom. Dust motes floated in the still air, disturbed only by the soft echo of footsteps and the occasional creak of old wood. Leora ran her fingers along a faded carving on the wall. This looks like a sacred symbol, something meant to protect or warn. Be careful, Selene whispered, eyes sharp and scanning every shadow. There's more here than just silence. Elias paused, hearing something faint beneath the quiet, the distant sound of a heavy, dragging noise mixed with whispering voices, barely audible, but unmistakable. "Don't turn on your lights," Jonas warned quietly. At that moment, a sudden flash of red eyes appeared in the darkness, watching, waiting. "They're here," Mara breathed, fear creeping into her voice. "We're not safe." Each member raised their weapon, the tension thickening as they moved cautiously forward into the temple's cold, shadowed heart. The group stepped cautiously into the temple's inner chamber, where the air grew colder and heavier with each step. Massive stone pillars rose like ancient sentinels, their surfaces carved with faded symbols glowing faintly in the dim light. Suddenly, the floor beneath their feet shifted. A deep rumble echoed through the chamber, and a section of the wall slid open, revealing a dark passage beyond. Celine motioned for silence. "We've just triggered something." From the shadows, soft whispers turned into chilling laughter. Echoes of the city's lost past, or something darker? Jonas raised his weapon, eyes darting toward the hidden corridor. "Should we go in?" Elias swallowed hard. "We have no choice if we want to find out what happened here." As they stepped inside, the passageway closed behind them with a thunderous slam. Darkness surrounded them, except for the faint glow of the ancient symbols lighting their way. Ahead, they saw carved images depicting the city's fall, battles with strange creatures, desperate rituals, and a mysterious figure holding a glowing artifact. Suddenly, a shadow lunged from the darkness. The group fought back fiercely. Boots scraping stone, breath ragged, steel ringing off something that wasn't quite flesh. Celine shouted a word in that same unknowable tongue. The shadow recoiled, then split into skittering fragments that melted into the walls. Silence fell again, the kind that presses against the ears until you can hear your own pulse. Elias lifted the ancient map, its edges trembling between his fingers. "The temple leads deeper," he whispered. "Something down there wants us to see it." Mara tightened her grip on his sleeve. "We keep moving," Reese said, voice low, resolved. "No more shouting. No more mistakes." Leora traced a final symbol, one shaped like a closed eye. "It's a warning," she murmured. "Or a lock." Jonas listened, really listened. "Footsteps," he breathed. "Not ours. Below." Celine turned to the others, shadowed eyes unreadable. "If we take the wrong path," she said softly, "we won't see the sun again in 3 days." They stood at the threshold of the stair, cold breath rising from the depths like fog. Then, without another word, they descended into the heart of the vanished city. As the group descended, each step echoed, swallowed quickly by the oppressive dark. A damp chill crept along their skin, carrying the faint scent of stone long closed to air. Somewhere far below, slow, deliberate footsteps answered theirs, out of sync and far too heavy. Mara's breath hitched. "It's following us," she whispered. They pressed on, torches guttering in the stale air. Shadows seemed to cling to the walls, shifting when no one moved. A faint drip of water echoed from somewhere unseen. Jonas's hand brushed the wall. The stone was warm. "This place, it's alive," he murmured. The stairway widened suddenly into a vast chamber. Faint blue light pulsed from veins in the walls, revealing a colossal, coiled shape at the far side. Stone grated as something stirred. The coils shifted, scales catching the light like shards of metal. Then a voice, low, drawn out, layered with hisses, filled the chamber. "Shh, Ados, guard, keep, you." The sound rumbled through their chests, vibrating the air itself. Reese's hand went to his sword. Elias stepped forward, map trembling. "Askarion," he breathed. The creature's eyes flared gold, and the air seemed to press inward from all sides. "Choose, path, wise, or fade." Selene stepped closer, eyes fixed on the serpent's massive head. "What lies beyond the gate?" she asked. The serpent shifted, coils grinding against stone. "Test, trial, truth," the voice hissed. Mara swallowed hard. "And if we fail?" "End." Behind them, the stairway sealed shut with a deafening slam. The ground trembled. Somewhere deep in the darkness beyond Askarion, other shapes stirred. Leora whispered, "We're not alone." Askarion lowered its head, eyes burning. "Step, forward, prove, or perish." The group tightened formation, hearts pounding in unison. Without another word, they crossed the threshold into the heart of the vanished city. From the shadows, something watched and waited. As the group carefully descended the narrow, winding stairway, the air grew heavier, thick with the scent of damp stone and ancient dust. Every step echoed, each one triggering hidden traps. They had to duck and roll as arrows shot from carved holes, narrowly missing shoulders and legs. Mara gasped as a poisoned dart grazed her arm, leaving a thin streak of blood. Reese cursed under his breath, quickly pulling it out with trembling hands. "Stay close, move slow," Selene hissed, her eyes scanning the shadows for more dangers. The walls themselves seemed alive, etched with stories of a guardian older than memory, a being who had watched over this city for over 2 millennia. Leora paused to touch a carved mural, tracing ancient symbols that told of a dragon-like creature protecting a single, mysterious relic. Her finger lingered over a symbol that glowed faintly, a language long lost but still whispering its warnings. Jonas bent closer to read, his voice barely a whisper. "It says the Guardian has kept watch, never sleeping, never failing, and its eyes see all who enter." The group pressed on, carefully navigating spikes hidden beneath shifting tiles. Each movement caused the ground to tremble, and for a moment they swore they heard low, resonant growls from the depths. "It's aware of us," Elias murmured, clutching the ancient map like a lifeline. Shadows twisted along the walls as if the stairway itself were alive, guiding them forward, warning them back. A sudden collapse of stones forced everyone to leap, Mara scraping her leg painfully, but none were gravely injured. The air shimmered as they approached a massive chamber. In the center, a stone pedestal bore a relic radiating faint, otherworldly light. Around it, murals detailed the Guardian's deeds, protecting the city, safeguarding its secrets, and enduring centuries of war and ruin. Selene stepped closer, her breath shallow. "It isn't just a dragon," she whispered. "It is the city's soul, bound to this relic." Leora traced the runes once more, feeling a pulse of energy ripple beneath her fingertips. "It's alive," Jonas said, awed, stepping back. "It has waited for anyone daring enough to find this place." Suddenly, a low roar shook the chamber, dust falling from the ceiling. Shadows stretched, and the faint glow of the relic reflected in countless eyes, eyes watching, testing, judging. The group froze, realizing fully that the Guardian's vigilance had never wavered. "We cannot take it lightly," Reese said, gripping his weapon. "One wrong move." He trailed off as the shadows coalesced, hinting at a presence older, stronger, and immeasurably more cunning than they had imagined. They had come seeking knowledge, adventure, and the secrets of the vanished city, but now faced a truth more profound than any map or tale could convey. And as they took a step closer to the relic, the chamber seemed to hold its breath, as if the city itself was waiting to decide their fate. The party arrived near the hidden stone door, its presence unmistakable, yet mysteriously silent. There they discovered a vast treasure hoard, and within it a seemingly delicate but immensely potent elongated vial containing an elixir of rare and extraordinary power. One member cautiously reached for the vial and was immediately astonished by its shifting colors, glowing aura, and concentrated magical energy. What they did not know was that the ancient dragon guardian had been silently observing their every move, unseen within the surroundings. One of the group accidentally noticed a massive gemstone embedded around the dragon's neck, radiating an eerie, mesmerizing light. Touching the gemstone revealed a hidden mechanism that could unlock the treasure chamber's stone door, leaving the party in awe. As the door slowly creaked open, dazzling treasures became visible, jewels of unmatched beauty, luminous manuscripts, and mystical artifacts infused with formidable power. At that very moment, the dragon emerged, preparing to confront them. Shadows shifted, stones trembled, and currents of air swirled violently, testing the party with unseen forces. One member suffered an injury, blood dripping onto the stone floor, yet the group pressed forward with determination and unity. Selene raised her voice in a resonant chant, disrupting the darkness and drawing the dragon's attention. Leora traced the glowing runes, guiding the party along the path revealed by the gemstone's mechanism. The dragon lunged, claws snapping and teeth gnashing, but the party moved with agility and precision, countering with combined skill and reflexes. Beams of radiant light erupted from the treasure hoard, illuminating safe paths and revealing that the dragon had been guarding an ancient, invaluable object unseen until now. Elias gasped. "This chamber is revealing everything it has been protecting through the centuries." Reese directed the party, saying, "Proceed carefully. Any mistake could be our last." Amid clashing energies, flying debris, and cascading light, the group faced the dragon in a tense and decisive duel. They endured fear, uncertainty, and the weight of the unknown, yet they refused to falter, fighting with courage, cunning, and sheer determination. Through a precise combination of weapon strikes, magical skill, and strategic coordination, the party managed to subdue the dragon long enough to claim a portion of the treasure. Silence fell, shadows receded, and the adventurers withdrew safely, hearts pounding, having experienced the full measure of bravery, ingenuity, and resilience. The dragon roared, its massive wings shaking the chamber walls as the party braced for the fiercest confrontation yet. Jonas Hale and Celine Vargo struggled under the dragon's strikes, grievously wounded, yet their resolve never faltered. Captain Rhys Calder maneuvered skillfully, defending his companions while looking for an opening. Elias Ward, analyzing the dragon's movements, spotted a precarious overhanging stone. With a coordinated signal, Rhys and Elias distracted the dragon, luring it beneath the jagged rock. Mara Quinn and Dr. Leora Ashford guided the others, chanting protective wards as the chamber trembled. With precise timing, Elias pushed the stone free. It crashed down atop the dragon, pinning it just long enough for Rhys to deliver a decisive strike. The dragon, subdued and gasping, allowed the party to retrieve the gemstone from its neck. As the gemstone clicked into the mechanism, the massive door swung fully open, revealing the long-guarded treasure chamber. Stepping inside, the group found glowing jewels, radiant manuscripts, and the fabled elongated vial, pulsing with concentrated power. Each member, Elias, Mara, Jonas, Selene, Rhys, and Leora, stood in awe, knowing their courage, skill, and unity had conquered the Guardian and unlocked the secrets long hidden within the chamber. Unexpectedly, the vial reacted to their presence, emitting a gentle, mesmerizing glow that revealed hidden inscriptions on the walls, hinting at mysteries yet to be uncovered. The chamber still trembled from the dragon's fall, smoke curling from scorched stone. Elias Ward crouched beside Jonas and Mara, tending to their wounds, while Rhys Calder scanned the cavern for lingering dangers. The team's relief, however, was fleeting. Selene Vargo lingered in the shadows, her eyes glinting with a dangerous anticipation. All this time she had coveted the elongated vial, the concentrated elixir promising unmatched insight. Every cautious step the group had taken now seemed a prelude to her moment. With the others distracted, Selene drew a concealed pistol. The metallic click echoed against the stone walls. "Step aside," she commanded, voice smooth yet commanding. "I've waited too long for this." Rhys' hand went instinctively to his sword, but Elias raised a calm hand. "Selene, it doesn't have to end like this," he pleaded. A sharp laugh rang through the chamber. Selene advanced to the pedestal, eyes locked on the glowing vial. As her fingers closed around it, the chamber seemed to shiver in response. The massive stone beneath the treasure quaked violently, cracks snaking across the floor. Molten fire surged from the depths of Vanished City, licking the cavern walls. Selene froze for a heartbeat, but adrenaline pushed her forward, sprinting toward the fissure, vial in hand. The chamber shook, and the ceiling rumbled ominously as stone fell around her. Elias lunged, grabbing her arm. She twisted, yanking him along as debris cascaded in a relentless storm. Behind them, Mara and Jonas rallied the rest of the group, guiding them through smoke, fire, and falling stones. Cavern fractured further, a symphony of destruction. Precious gemstones and gold plunged into the molten abyss, extinguished by fire and smoke. Selene, clutching the vial, glanced at her companions, Elias, Rhys, Mara, Jonas, and Leora, straining against the collapsing chamber. The narrow escape passage offered a glimmer of hope. One by one they emerged onto the cliffside, coughing through ash and smoke. The night sky glowed red as Vanished City's destruction stretched beneath them. Elias sank to his knees, weariness etched across his face. Reese's hand tightened on his sword, heart still racing. Mara shielded her eyes, tears streaking her soot-smudged cheeks. Jonas's gaze stayed fixed on the horizon, unwavering even in the chaos. Even Selene, victorious with the elongated vial, seemed subdued. The treasure was hers, yet the loss of an entire civilization pressed heavily on her conscience. Power, she realized, could not contain the fury of history. From their vantage point, the 6 survivors watched the vanished city vanish into molten light and falling stone. Celine's smirk softened, almost imperceptibly, a fleeting moment of doubt amid triumph. The wind carried away the last sparks as they descended the cliff, each step heavy with grief, relief, and the knowledge that this adventure had forever changed them. They had survived the dragon, the betrayal, and the collapse of a civilization, but Vanished City's story, written in courage, treachery, and fleeting glory, lingered in their hearts. And somewhere the elongated vial gleamed faintly, promising new journeys, new dangers, and new revelations yet to unfold. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video brought a little light to your day and eased away some of life's tired moments. Please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. There's plenty more content like this coming your way.